we then have one seat at the Council of Ministers, 1 out of 28, and where there have been votes since David Cameron has been Prime Minister, we have lost on 40 occasions, which happens to be the total number of occasions when there have been votes.
I'm not a British citizen, and this really, really scares me. Actually, why I'm scared now is what I've heard tonight is certain things that were told were said in 1933 in Germany.
Wir sind des Geiers schwarzer Haufen, Heia, oh, und wollen mit Tyrannen raufen, Heia, oh.
Well, there's a lot of self-congratulation going on here in the European Union on International Women's Day. It's my opinion that you've made a complete dog's breakfast of it. You talk about maternity leave. All that's happening with draconian maternity leave, madam, let me tell you, is that fewer and fewer young women in my country are getting jobs because you'd have to be stark staring mad to employ a young woman if you have a small business. So you've done them no favours.
Many aspects of our life are now controlled from the EU, from abroad, from Brussels, in a way that I think is anti-democratic.
Who is Brussels?
We are all
Brussels. They are all.
Last week, we had a net increase of 330,000 all told, 333,000, 270,000 from the EU. If we grow the size of a city like Newcastle every year, we will see our population rise inexorably to about 70 or perhaps 80 million.
77% of the British public want cuts to the numbers coming into Britain, and over half the voters want a reduction to near zero. So people are very upset, they're very unhappy, they're seeing the impact on local schools, they're seeing the impact on GP services, they're seeing the impact on housing or the inability of young people to get on the housing ladder. So that's why it's the number one issue. And I think that the reason in this referendum why we have to talk about this is all the while, that, which is a British passport, or should be, but the first two words on it are European Union, that is available to 508 million people. And any of those people, if they wish, can come to this country. We have no control. The only way we get control is to vote to leave the European Union.
We were reaching out like this and not like this. And I feel the Brexiters are all doing this and I am doing this. That's why I'm running marathons. That's why I'm transgender. I came out 31 years ago. I'm trying to be brave. I'm touring France in French. I'm touring Germany in German.
The EU is just obliterated the English fishing industry altogether. The quota system they've got now is just, it's just mad. Oh, just beyond the pale over there. In fact, it might be there today, this great big Dutchman. Well, that Dutchman's got 25% of the whole quota of all of England. It's only 3 or 4 miles off the time catching herring and mackerel. Local fleet kind of catch herring and mackerel and it's right on the doorstep. When I started working down here, there was about 200 firms working on the quay. There was haulage firms on the quay who had 30 and 40 wagons that used to ship the fish away.
And how many boxes would there be in the market then?
In them days, 8, 10, 12, and then you would get also you
12,000. 12,000 boxes a day?
Uh-huh.
So of different place?
You heaven X, man. You couldn't get moved. Now with this, well, I think the average for the year, it'll just be about 200 boxes a day. So it's quite nothing, isn't it?
Nigel, stop telling lies. Nigel, Britain makes more money from fishing than any other European Union country. Britain makes more money from fishing than any other EU country. Britain has the second largest quota in the European Union. Britain has the second largest quota in the European Union.
European Union. There is no control whatsoever over the numbers that come from the European Union. As an EU member, we have no control.
Okay.
That's the problem.
Hillary there. Alright, we'll come to the economy. I'm going to come to the economy.
Ever announce you're just going to politically avoid it?
Hillary there.
Control, avoid. We cannot. Your grandparents, they didn't stop them coming in.
Right.
Once again, all the men are Romanian.
You got the ID? No English, yeah. That old chestnut.
They come over, they lodge in houses of 5 or 10 in a house, and then they basically go out and do shift work. They go out, do their shift, either find where the cable is, cut it up, next shift comes out, comes and takes it, then they cut it up and put it in vehicles.
Right here.
Yeah, I would vote yes to stay in. Firstly, because you can see the audience today, the diversity and the benefits, particularly living in a city like Bradford, that being part of the European Union brings.
Talk to Abiodun Olutoken, who's been hitting the streets to convince young people to register by midnight. He's from an organisation called Fight the Ballot. Sadia Sajid is 17 and she's really frustrated that the law prevents her from voting until her next birthday. Tasmia Tahir is 21. Dalapo Akunaga is 19. They'll both be voting Remain on the 23rd of June. Jordan Ryan and Joseph Wigmore are here. They're 22 and 21 and they're in the Leave camp.
To go back to what Zena asked in her question was, what do we know about the future? We know that the future is inherently uncertain whether we're in or out. Who knows how the Eurozone is going to develop and the catastrophe...
Not part of the Eurozone.
The catastrophe that has unfolded, which is enveloping the whole of Europe, which is the biggest attack on workers' rights in Europe. 49% youth unemployment in Greece. 47% in Spain, 39% youth unemployment in Italy. This is a political project which has been controlled by an unelected body of international civil servants and people that we have no control over. We don't elect them, we can't dismiss them, and yet they make our laws. I think it's an absolute disgrace that this country has given away the power of its elected politicians to make our laws, people who we have a right to elect and people who, if we don't like them, we can dismiss.